Hi guys, I'm Adrian. In today's film, Code 8. Imagine if only 4% of humans had enhanced abilities. Now take those 4% of people and show that most of them live under the poverty line. Money makes the world go round and they need it too. Our conflict begins. Code 8 is a story about superpowered beings and how they function in modern society. We also go into how society adjusts to having superpowered beings and how they both evolve with everyday changes. First of all, y'all know I love Stephen Amell. Glad to see him in more superpowered action, and I gotta give it up to Robbie too. Shout out to Green Arrow for being my first drama I followed on cable, and shout out to Firestorm. Now, these guys are out here to survive. They are not superheroes, they're just people who happen to have powers. The government and regular society sees them as a threat. This makes it difficult for them to make a decent living. We see them getting picked up and doing construction jobs, and it is some of the best world building and the hardest scene I've seen in a superhero film. They are using their powers to get everything done more efficiently. This is beautiful in that America was built on super able beings. They were the ones who built the towers and monuments and skyscrapers. They had a hand in electricity, and so much more is left to the imagination. Hell, they probably built the pyramids in Easter Island and maybe even Atlantis, who knows? But in our ancient days, they were probably worshipped as gods. Imagine how different wars were and how kings and queens probably had superpowers. It's pretty gross, but they probably tried to keep royal blood a lot more back then with superpowers and all. But the possibilities are endless. Over time, technology advanced, and with that, there was less need for superpowered beings. Just like regular humans, technology took their jobs. With this time and less need for superhumans, people began to fear these people. This then turns into hate. It doesn't help that over time, a lot of superhumans turn to crime. Now, I won't go too far into it, but let's just say for a moment, juxtapose this movie to racism. I'll stop there. Yeah. Anyway, something that I don't see introduced enough in superhero films is money. It's the driving force behind the whole story. These superhumans are still human and have to find a way to contribute to modern society. Everyone, regardless of who you are, needs money for something. Here is no different. There are no superheroes in this world, just people trying to survive. Now, police and procedures are like martial law. The police do not screw around and will inflict harm. The crazy thing is that we can understand why these precautions are necessary. People have superpowers, and you have a gun and a robot. Anyone would be afraid, especially dealing with that every day. It's even easier to get killed when the criminals have powers. Understanding that makes the tension so much more realistic and grounded. I never really liked superheroes with infinite power. I was always rooting for the guy who could actually get hurt, the guy who could actually get shot, the one who took down a bunch of foes yet got cut up and shot in the process. Code 8 captures that, and I love it. You also kind of feel like you could fight a superhero because it's so grounded and, dare I say, realistic. This is probably one of the more realistic superhuman films I've seen. Even with the superpowers, everyone is vulnerable to everyone. There's a balance. Unless your power is impenetrable skin, then you can get shot in the head just as easily as anybody else. Even then, they still get killed from too many bullets. Like, bullets still hurt like hell and still do damage, just not nearly as much. We also see that these powers have drawbacks. We have the healing power that works both ways. If she heals you, she had to take on the hurt herself. Then we see the sickness that develops. Like, how does a doctor treat freeze cancer? It adds so many layers to these characters and their lifespans. So, what happens when an S tier telekinetic loses his mind? You know, so I know I didn't focus much on the story for this one, but I really wanted to touch on the world building. The way this world works is so intriguing and realistic, and it simply has no ends to what can happen. You watch 2 hours and you're stuck thinking for 10. I could literally see like a new MCU with this world. Easily 20 movies could come out of this. Like, I truly haven't seen any world building like this besides like The Boys. Speaking of Marvel, to end it off, I cannot help but compare Code 8 to the X-Men. Y'all knew it was coming. I just got that PS2 emulator going, and I am completely locked into X-Men Legends. I'm about to play Ultimate Alliance once I get past the second one, and I'm just getting chills every time I revisit one of those levels I remember as a kid. These old games were truly games, and nowadays we have, simulators. Anyway, I digress. Mutants are consistently met with fear, isolation, and discrimination. Again, it isn't fair how people treat mutants, but humans truly have every reason to fear them. That's what makes these stories so rich and relatable. We are able to understand both sides of the coin and provide an inevitable and ongoing conflict. I also want to say that I love the minimal effects. Lack of too much CGI makes everything feel more realistic and grounded, and it also gives some more room for the technology to shine in the movie as well. Also, did y'all know this started as a short film? I didn't know until I started making this video, but there's a 10-minute short film on Code 8, and it is awesome. Please go check it out, and I will most likely link it in the description. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out the Code 8 movies on Netflix and stay tuned for more content. Stay safe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.